Okay, let's start. Welcome, Mr. Hemanth. It's great to have you with us today. For everyone listening, Mr. Hemanth is the Vice President of the Center of Excellence for Sterile Quality Operations at Cipla. He leads quality systems across sterile and biologics operations and brings years of experience in driving operational excellence and regulatory compliance. In this conversation, we'll explore leadership in pharma, quality culture, and practical career advice for students stepping into the industry. Let's get started.
Okay, very good, Khirod.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you. Yeah, we can start.
Yeah, can you? Okay, okay. Mr. Hemant, begin with, could you tell us about your current role at Cipla and what your responsibility as Vice President of Sterile Quality Operations involve?
Yeah, good. So Cipla, as you know, Cipla is one of the top tier company in India. It's an
Okay.
Indian based, we can say it's an Indian based multinational company.
Mm-hmm.
We operate, Cipla is a very old company, is a legacy company of incorporated 90 years back. So it's
Oh.
a initially incepted in 1930s
Mm-hmm.
before independence.
Mm-hmm.
The initial objective was to manufacture drugs and supply to the army personnel and all. Then
Mm-hmm.
eventually they become a pharmaceutical pharmaceutical manufacturing company.
So, Mr. Hemant, drugs in the sense medical drugs, or what do you mean?
Medicine, yes.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
drugs means, yeah, has a dual terminology. Usually, drugs conventionally means the pharmaceutical dosage
Mm-hmm.
forms, what we take as
Okay,
a medicine.
okay,
So these
okay.
are all called drugs. But later, the
Mm-hmm.
narcotics also now they referred as a drugs. But there is a clear difference between the narcotic drugs and the pharmaceutical drugs.
Okay.
So are medicines, we can say. So
Mm-hmm.
Cipla is mainly engaged into manufacture of human medicines, I can say.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So this is a 90-year-old company based out of
Okay.
Mumbai, operating
Okay.
from
Okay.
Mumbai. But we have large operations. So we manufacture various pharmaceutical products,
Mm.
uh, and we our manufacturing network spread across India, multiple locations, and we also have manufacturing operations in South Africa predominantly,
Oh,
and US, and
so
also
it's
in China.
worldwide. So
So
it's worldwide, right?
worldwide, yes. So
Okay.
mainly manufacturing, mainly I can say four regions: India
Mm.
predominant, then we
Mm-hmm.
have in South Africa, US, and China. But
Okay.
yeah, apart from this manufacturing operations,
Mm-hmm.
we market these products, what we manufacture, is
Mm-hmm.
across the globe. So we have many other regions like Latin
Mm-hmm.
America, North America, Europe, say Asia Pacific, Australia, and of
Mm-hmm.
course India. So
Okay.
we sell across we have various marketing divisions. We
Okay.
sell across the products which are
Mm-hmm.
manufactured at any of the locations in Cipla. So mainly when we say vertically, we can say Cipla has both manufacturing divisions and commercial division.
Mm-hmm.
Manufacturing is one of a operations where we
Mm-hmm.
manufacture drugs and pharmaceuticals, and
Mm-hmm.
marketing is the division which takes care of distribution of these products and selling this product into various markets.
Okay.
So I belong to a manufacturing operations where
Uh,
I am the vice president of Sterile Center of Excellence, wherein
mm-hmm.
my current role is I'm one of the part of leadership group. What we call typically is a CIPLA leadership group. We call
Okay.
CLG.
Uh-huh.
CLG consists of leadership team who are heading various functions of CIPLA and
Mm-hmm.
across the organizations, across the divisions, across the geographic locations. So I manage one particular function called a center of excellence within the
Okay.
quality. So where my role is as a head of center of excellence, my
Mm-hmm.
role is to support a sterile manufacturing sites. So when we
Mm-hmm.
say we have sites across the globe, we
Okay.
have various types of pharmaceutical products. When you say
Mm-hmm.
pharmaceutical products, you might have seen tablets like
Yeah, I've
capsules, like
yeah,
India
I've even seen energy drinks with no the
energy
ORS.
drinks.
Yeah.
ORS
Oh,
doesn't come as a drug; it is more of a nutraceutical.
okay,
We have a
okay.
slight difference. We also
Mm-hmm.
Cipla also make that ORS, so that is a
Okay.
separate division altogether. What we call
Oh.
as OTC, that is the over the
Mm.
counter. What it means
Okay.
is like strepsils, like
Mm-hmm.
general
Mm.
medicines. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like a medicine; it's more of a nutraceuticals.
Mm-hmm.
Or OTCs. But what we make is more of a prescription drugs. Where
Okay.
means doctor have to prescribe, right? That is called a prescription
Hmm.
drugs.
Yeah, yeah, I get
So
it. I
these
get it. Hmm.
yeah, the prescription
Hmm.
drugs are into various forms, like it's
Hmm.
tablets, capsules, ointments, or
Hmm.
injections like that.
Hmm.
So some of the drugs which are administered through parenteral route means ophthalmic solutions,
Hmm.
injections, which are
Hmm.
most critical. What happens
Hmm.
is when we since these are directly access to your body fluids through
Hmm.
your barrier, skin barrier,
Hmm. Hmm.
they if they contain any microbial contamination, then
Hmm.
that can be harmful to the patient,
Hmm.
right? From a
So,
safety.
Mr. Hemant, so you oversee sterile and biologic operations across multiple manufacturing sites.
Yes,
How do you ensure
yes.
consistency and high quality standards across such a wide and complex network?
Okay. So my role is mainly as a subject matter expert because I am a center of excellence. So the
Mm-hmm.
people who are various functions, various divisions and manufacturing sites are operating at their places. What
Okay.
we do is to ensure that across the network with various sites to ensure the consistency, we have something called a corporate standards. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm mainly responsible for creating those standards. These
Mm-hmm.
standards tell you what to do, how to do on a day-to-day operations. So if
Mm-hmm.
there is operations, right? There is engineering operation, there is a manufacturing operations, there are quality control, testing operations. So we create standards at a corporate level, sitting
Okay.
at Mumbai, which are
Mm-hmm.
baseline standards for each manufacturing sites to follow on
Mm-hmm.
day-to-day operations. So that is the
Okay.
first
Oh.
element of consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Then we also visit to sites. I provide
Mm-hmm.
mentoring and coaching. I review their activities to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that they always meet a corporate standards so that all sites are operating in a consistent manner.
Okay. So, so you monitor everything on this thing.
Yes, I monitor all
Okay.
these sites, whether
Mm-hmm.
and I create the standards first. Then I
Mm-hmm.
monitor every site whether they are operating
Mm-hmm.
as per the established standards. That is how
Mm-hmm.
we ensure consistency.
Hmm. So the sterile operations are highly regulated. So how do you strike the right balance between meeting strict compliance requirements and still pushing for innovation and continuous improvement?
Agree. Good, Kiro. So what we do is, as I rightly said, since these pharmaceuticals are very critical, and
Okay.
these are called a prescriptions, the
Mm-hmm.
patients doesn't know what. Like usually, if you need a drug, like no, if you need a
Mm-hmm.
TV, you go and buy
Mm.
a TV. You know what you're buying. But
Yeah.
when you need a
Well,
drug,
yeah.
you
When
cannot
it
go
comes to
and buy a
when
drug
it comes to
because you have
pharma,
to
it's little complicated to understand about medicals and this
complicated, right?
thing. Yeah.
So
Mm.
that is the reason these are called prescription because you
Mm-hmm.
can use these drugs based on the only prescription from a doctor. You cannot use it
Mm-hmm.
your own. So that
Yeah.
is the reason since customer is not doesn't know what they are using.
Mm.
So there is a need for a highly regulation. So government
Mm.
agencies regulate this that we
Okay.
maintain required standards when we are
Mm.
manufacture these products. So
Okay.
then government agencies means regulatory agencies. They
Mm-hmm.
come and evaluate our drugs. They do
Mm.
testing. They
Mm.
review our documentation before
Mm-hmm.
we get an approval. Then you
Okay.
might have seen in COVID vaccine. Then there are many people they are making a vaccine, but government
Mm.
was not initially giving approval. So what
Yeah,
they do
yeah.
is government they review all this data they
Mm.
generate to ensure that we meet the required standards and is safe to
Mm.
patients. Then only we
Mm.
get approval. After
Okay.
approval only we can manufacture any drug and sell in the market. So that
Uh-huh.
way government has a lot of scrutiny and enforcement on
Mm.
whatever we do every day. So that is
So,
what
so
and
everything
these
is controlled by
requirements
the
are
government first, and then it comes to you. It comes down to you, right?
yes. So this
Okay.
control by government, they have governments have published their guidelines how to
Mm-hmm.
follow these requirements. So
Okay.
as a subject matter expert, what I do is I time to time I evaluate these government guidelines
Mm.
and make sure that the requirements are integrated into our own standards so
Okay.
that we always meet whatever we do meet the government regulations. So that
Mm-hmm.
is uh, one thing what we make sure to ensure the compliance. But
Okay.
when we also compliance, that we also strive for innovation, right? So
Mm.
then
Yeah.
again, compliance should not restrict the innovation. So what
Mm-hmm.
we do is we improve things, right? Now we learn from our mistakes. If any
Mm.
failure happens, or we do audits and we do
Mm.
reviews, and wherever
Okay.
we identify gaps, we make the
Mm.
improvements. We provide training. we get
Mm,
new technologies, or we do a lot of studies
mm,
to improve the product efficiency and operational
mm,
excellence. So that way
mm.
we make sure that the innovation continues.
Okay. So, what's your approach to building a strong quality culture across teams, or how do you inspire excellence in such a critical area?
Agree. So that I think there are two, three aspects to this when we talk about excellence. Right
Okay.
now, because as I said, we are a 90-year-old company.
Yeah.
So one is one of the very important aspect, and the
Mm,
technology evolves, right? The more and more technologies are coming, and there are aging facilities. So we, let us say, we build one site and we started manufacturing. The manufacturing site is not same after 10 years, after 20 years, after 30 years. It's same with our house, right? We
mm,
cannot live in the
mm.
same house 20, 30 years or 50 years,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? So
It gets old
any
and
that,
out of.
yes, it gets old and we get new problems, right? Then
Yeah.
what we do is, over a period of time, we make sure that we ensure that we refurbish sites, we ensure that we make improvements, so that even irrespective of the aging, the sites are in a state of control. That is number one. The
Okay.
second aspect is we adopt new technologies. Like the more and
Mm,
more we coming, like 20
mm,
years back, we were doing the testing in a more
mm,
different fashion. Now we
mm.
use different technologies, like we use automations. We use now AI is the now important thing. So that is the thing we need to do. Make sure that we are updated and we use advanced technologies, which will give them more reliable data, that our
Okay.
safety of the drugs are important. The third
Mm,
aspect is the people, right? So people need a continuous learning, and the
mm,
people need a continuous improvement. So
mm,
we give trainings to people, we mentor them, coach them, so that they are
mm.
updated with the current requirements, regulations, and they do improvement in their job, so that we uh, drive that continuous improvement culture.
Okay. So, looking back your own career journey, what was one key mindset or habit that helped you, grow into your leadership qualities?
Okay, very good question, Kirod. I think this is very close to my heart. Is, I think you have to keep with the common sense, right? That is the first
Okay.
thing. So when you
Hmm.
are working in any industry or any
Hmm.
organization in a leadership role, so
Okay.
first you have to have a lot of things work with a
Hmm.
common sense, right?
Hmm.
So because this is a blend of technology and science,
Yeah.
and of course business. So we have three
Hmm.
things to balance. We have to take the new technologies. You cannot do the same thing every time. We
Hmm.
have to improve. Then
Hmm.
we have to also, apart from technology, we have to also make sure that science, right? So
Science.
with the new
So a
technology,
little bit
science
of
should be.
education and then common sense and then the.
It's a blend of three things: your basic education, understanding of the science,
Yeah.
and blending with this technology. The what
Hmm.
best we can use the technology, not the
Hmm.
old way.
Hmm.
Then applying some common sense, right? So
Hmm.
then technology soul cannot resolve all the problems. Science
Yeah.
cannot
Yeah.
resolve all the problems. Then you have
Huh.
to have a leadership, some common sense and
Exactly.
innovation.
So
These
who
three
could?
things are very important for leaders.
Hmm. Yeah. So, from your experience, what's one common mistake that freshers or recent graduates make when entering the industry, and how can they avoid it?
Okay, I think this is a very fluid, because this change time to time. The kind
Hmm.
of mistakes what I used to do when I was a fresher
Hmm.
is may not relevant today,
Hmm.
because that time we don't have this level of technology and this
Yeah.
level of information, right?
Hmm.
So I think, but that is also brought some new risks, because when I started my career, I think everything we used to do and we used to learn, right? So because we
Yeah.
have to get that experience to learn things, but now
Hmm.
it's not the same. The current
Yeah.
technology, with the Gen Z coming into picture, you
Hmm.
no need to do everything, because a lot of information is available freely, which was
Hmm.
not true when we started our career, right?
Hmm.
So then
Yeah.
now
Now
you
we
just
have
go to ChatGPT.
artificial intelligence too for
Yes,
any help
and
or
we have
so.
Google. Yeah, you can go to
Hmm.
Wikipedia and know whatever you
Hmm.
want, and you can go to YouTube and you can see whatever you want, and you
Hmm.
can ask ChatGPT to give any
Yeah.
answer what you want, which
Hmm.
was not the case with when we did it. But
Mm-hmm.
that time when we are doing first time, we were doing a lot of mistakes, lot of
Yeah.
errors. So
Okay.
where somebody how to do that coaching and mentoring and get explain things what is right. So what
Yes.
I feel is
Mm.
the young generation was coming to industry as starting career. I
Okay.
think it's good that you can use information available in the public domain is very useful,
Mm-hmm.
but they have to have that user experience. So
Mm-hmm.
my the simple mistake people are doing is
Mm.
without hands-on experience they presume that they know things because they read in Wikipedia, they see in the YouTube. That is not
Mm.
the truth. Particularly, it is very important for critical functions like pharmacy, medicines, and healthcare.
Mm.
Like a
Mm.
doctor cannot go and operate do a surgery by completing his degree and see the YouTube video, right? So he
Yeah,
really
right.
have to undergo that training, hands-on training,
The
slowly to
experience
get that.
also. Mm.
So my suggestion to any new guy who come into
Mm.
some skill functions like
Mm.
pharmaceuticals, medicines, that
Mm.
irrespective of what information you see and you get, you have to experience, have that user experience to
Mm.
become an expert. So
Okay.
don't assume that by theory knowledge you can become an expert. So and
Mm.
try to do some expert things. So that is the baseline understanding every student should have.
Mm.
And
What if?
it's unlike service industry, right? Like
Mm.
you go to operate, you go to bank and operate, write a code because without
Mm.
any experience. But you cannot
Mm.
do a surgery without an experience. So there are
Mm.
certain things which you have to learn by experience, and
Mm.
that is also very much required for pharmaceutical industry.
Uh, so if you were a student right now in 2025, what would you focus more on? Technical skills, leadership, development, communication, or something else?
I think entry level leadership is far away because
Mm.
then I think two aspects which I wanted to focus even today, and that was
Mm.
something. The
Mhm.
technical understanding is very
If you were a
important.
student like
Yes,
new to the industry and
yes. If I'm
mm,
a student, what and if I reflect back, I
mm,
think the articulation of the basic science is very much important. So I focus
mm,
on technical understanding of my subject,
okay,
number one,
technical
and
skills, okay,
the communication piece, right? The
mm,
communication is also very, very important. The
mm,
communication means not just the language.
mm,
The communication means the articulation, the art of
mm,
understanding and the
mm,
art of re-articulation, right? So
mm,
because some people are very good in language, but they
mm,
cannot express what they wanted to say because
mm,
the influencing skill is very, very important moving forward.
mm, okay,
That how you can articulate and how you can influence other people. So
mm,
that is the key for leadership, and that you have to
yeah,
learn as a student first. Then you
mm,
can apply that when you start your career. So
mm,
my as a student, I focus on two things: my communication, art of
mm,
communication, both
okay,
storytelling and listening.
mm, mm,
Then the basic
the
science,
technical
understanding
skills,
of the basic technology, and yes.
mm. So what's a good way for students to, start building real world exposure to pharma or operations even before they graduate or something?
I think this is a bit tricky because,
Mm.
like as I said,
Mm-hmm.
pharma is something which you cannot pharma and some healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
You it's very difficult for you to get a virtual
It's a little
experience, unlike
complicated, you say.
services.
You
Yeah,
say
it's
it's
a
a little
complicated
complicated.
because
Okay. Mm.
you have to get into system, you have to get a
Mm-hmm.
hands-on experience.
Mm.
So, but what happens is these days uh, there are very good courses available online where you
Mm.
have audio visual experience,
Mm.
and there are certain virtual reality programs
Mm.
where
Mm.
you can learn them and you can feel them, you can touch, have a touch and feel, unlike
Mm.
just reading the books, right? That is one
Okay.
thing.
Mm.
You can
Mm.
explore that and you can learn that. There are numerous
Mm.
videos
Mm.
available in public domain
Mm.
on basic techniques of pharmaceuticals and medicine. Then
Mm.
second thing is get into internships, whatever wherever possible, getting into internships
Mm.
while you are a student.
Mm.
Work on short assignments like one
To
month,
get
2 months
the experience and the knowledge on the
experience.
industry
Yes,
and
and try to
something.
apply that experience into your
Mm.
basic science
Mm.
education.
Mm.
So
Mm.
that then visualize things, right? So you try to visualize things in a
Mm.
long, bigger picture. Then that
Mm.
will be very helpful to be successful in the career if you wanted to build a career in pharma and
Mm.
medicine.
Okay. Okay. So to wrap up, if you could share one core message or piece of advice that every student listening should carry forward into the career, what would it be?
Okay, I think this is a bit tricky, but yeah, I try to give that messaging.
Yeah.
Is I think what I wanted always to students is I think you
Mm,
have to definitely you have to be very thorough in the advanced technology advancements and the tools available in the market, like smartphones and your
mm,
AI and ChatGPT and all.
mm,
But my messaging to everyone is stick on to the basic science, right? If you see
mm,
today, the most successful people in medicine are not only doctors.
mm,
The Nobel laureates are they
mm,
coming either from physics, are they
mm,
coming from mathematics, are
mm,
they coming from chemistry.
mm,
So if you wanted to really pursue engineering, it's not very
mm,
important that whether you go to AML or any other, but it's very
mm,
important to understand the basic engineering, right? The science
mm,
behind engineering. So my
mm.
message to everyone: don't bogged up and they get a peer pressure with all these fancy things and technological
Okay.
advancements. But
Huh.
as a student, you should stick on to your grounds and learn the
Mm,
basic science
mm,
first.
mm,
Then the more and more you advance in your career and your education, then
mm,
you go to the specialization and get that
mm.
special skills.
So
But
first we
without
need to build the foundation and then.
foundation, yeah, even today,
Mm,
if you go to GRE, GMAT, the
mm,
basic exam is arithmetics, which
mm,
which were taught in 10th class. So
mm,
even in 100 years or 200 years of this modern education,
mm,
the skill come from the basic science. So
mm,
every student, my advice is, it's good that you can get more and more in advanced subjects, but you cannot be successful in
mm.
any technical
If we didn't know the root
profession
subjects. Mm,
without having a very good depth of the basic science.
mm,
Let it be maths, let it be science, let it be
okay.
chemistry or physics
Mm,
or engineering.
mm,
First, you have to be thorough with your basics
mm,
and have a right articulation of the basic fundamental science.
okay.
Then try to do excellence in specialization. So that is
Mm,
my message to everyone.
okay. Thank you so much. That brings us to the end of the conversation. Mr. Heyman, thank you for sharing such clear, insightful, and actionable advice, especially for students who are just starting to explore their career paths. It's been a real pleasure having you on this podcast. I'm sure our audience will gain a lot of from this, podcast. Thank you so much.
Very good, Khirod. I think
Mm.
thanks for this opportunity, and I'm sure you will definitely get that message and percolate that message. And wish you a
Thank
success
you.
in all your future endeavors and your education.
Mm.
Have a successful career.
Thank you. Thank you so
Good
much.
luck.
Yeah.